Hello everyone. In this video, I want to talk about different types of count function, count ifs and sum ifs. So we are working with the data set here. And what we have is a list of records. There are 100 of these. And each record is capturing the market, the product ID, the category, the subcategory, and the sales value. Now, imagine you just want to find how many transactions are there. For this, I can use a count, but count will only count numbers, not text values. So if I do count with column G, you get a 0. So we want to do a count A, which is a count all of column G, but we also want to put in a -1 because we don't want the heading to be counted. And the result is 100.
Let me write the formula here as well.
If you want to use a count, then you have to do this with a column that only has numbers in it. For example, we can select column K, and that gives us 100 as well, like this. To know how many categories are missing, we can simply do a count blank, but we can't select the entire column I because there are a lot of other blank cells as well. In this case, you will have to manually select from I9 and all the way down till I108. And doing this gives you 3, which is basically the number of blank cells that are there. Just to show you, if I apply a filter and I select the blank cells, we will get 3 here. To find the unique markets, we can first use a unique on the entire column. That gives us 2 additional values, the blank and the heading, which is the market. So let me do a drop 2, which will remove the top 2, and you get 5. And then, of course, we can simply do a count A that tells us the number of unique markets that we have. Do keep in mind that the drop function is very new as of the date of recording this video. So you might not have it on your system. So make sure that you are working on Microsoft 365 on a very recent update for you to have unique and drop. Here we have the data set one more time. And what I want to find here is, let's start with the last one, the number of transactions that are in technology. So there are 3 types of category that we have: technology, furniture, and office supplies. So we want to do what is essentially a conditional count, which means I want to count if. So from my range, which is column I, we want to count only one of the criteria, which is technology. And that gives us 37, like this. Let me try the formula here, like this. Let me also teach you how to create a dropdown. I believe we have already learned this in another video, but nevertheless, to create a dropdown, I first want to get a list of the 5 unique markets. So let me do that here on the right side. So equal to unique of G8 colon G107. And this is Q8. Now we can go to our cell. On data, we select data validation. We will enter a list, which is Q8 hash equal to Q8 hash. And that will give us these 5 markets. That is how we have created the dropdown in the other cells as well. Now I want to know that what is the total sales for this particular market, which is United States, the one I've selected. So we are doing a sum if. The range is column G. We are searching for C12, and the sales value is in column K. And the result, everyone, looks like this, 5532. So by changing the market, I can see a different result as well. This one is a little trickier because we want to find the sales for the market. Let us say Africa between 0 and 2500 as an example. So we will be using a sum if else because we have more than one criteria range. Now the sum range is in the beginning. In SUMIF, the sum range is the third argument, but in SUMIFS, it is the first argument. So the sum range we know is column K. Then in column G, I want to search for Africa. And then in column K, once again, we want to search for a value that is greater than equal to 0. And one final time, again in column K, we are searching for a value that is less than equal to C70. And here's the result, everyone, 2266. If I change the market, or if I change this threshold, the result changes as well. Let me put in the formula here, like this. So we can accept up to, I believe, 127 conditions. I don't think we will ever need so many of them, but it is fairly common for us to have 5, 6, 7 conditions at times. I also want to show you how to do this using the filter function. Let me remove all of this. Let's start with the final one. So I want to filter an array. That means I want to filter column I to only see the values when column I is equal to technology. That means that out of the 101 records that we have, including the header in that column, we just want to see the ones, or rather filter the ones that have technology. So you get only the technologies here. And then obviously I can simply do a count A, and that tells us 37. So this is a slightly different way of getting the same result, everyone. Let's do this for a replacement of the SUMIF as well that we learned in the previous sheet. So here again, I want to do a filter. So I want to filter column K. And what is the inclusion criteria? That column G should be equal to USC. Now it is going to give us a spill error. So let me do this in a different cell like this. And you notice that only the values for United States have been shown here, which is great. Now all I have to do is I have to sum it up. And there we go, we get the result. And the formula looks like this. The third one is slightly complex, and all of this is explained in a lot more detail in my course on dynamic arrays. So you should watch that one in case you want to do this in more detail. Here, I'm just giving you a very broad idea of how this can be used as a replacement to SUMIF and COUNTIF. So here we will say that we want to filter column K, and the inclusion criteria is actually 3 criteria. That means we want column K to be greater than equal to C16 multiplied by column K is less than equal to C17, again multiplied by column G is equal to the one we have selected, which would be Europe. Again, we will do the sum here, and the result is 50139. Let's double check that. So you notice that even with the SUMIFS, we were getting the same result. And here with the filter function, we are getting the same result. Given a choice, I would always prefer the filter, and I'll tell you why. The filter is so much more dynamic. It's so flexible, and the way we can control it is amazing. The SUMIFS, on the other hand, is a fantastic function. There was a time when we did not even have a SUMIF in Excel. We had to use a combination of sum with if. But the point I'm trying to make is that while this, in terms of the writability, might take you a little more time and might seem a little more complex, it actually is better because it's so much more flexible, everyone. So definitely try this out in addition to the COUNTIF and the SUMIF. And to learn about this in more detail, you can look at my course on dynamic arrays.